And we're back! It's been a while. So I missed you. I've missed seeing your bald head covered up by a hat. I can't say I've missed seeing your bald head because we never see it. Come on, bald is beautiful.
I gotta be, I gotta be nice to those that have an aversion to glares. Don't want to be blinding anybody here on Highly Debatable. That would not be good. I do not think our insurance will cover
it. Will not. There is no insurance here on Highly Debatable. Welcome to episode number 13 of Highly Debatable. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man Sonny Weaver. Season 2 underway. It's been a while. We had quite a flurry of NBL live broadcasts throughout the playoffs, culminating by that Super Bowl, which you get to see a rematch. If you didn't like that Super Bowl, if for some reason you weren't a big fan of huge broadcasts, well, we're just going to show the exact same one again in about a half hour, because we got a Super Bowl rematch in Week 1. Giants and Chargers should be fantastic. Sonny Weaver, I don't know about you, that was an exhausting period of NBL Network broadcasts here on with NBL Live, broadcasting every single game of the playoffs, but it's a new season, season 30 here in the NBL.
Yeah, I'm excited for season 30. I think we got some good things in store for us, and I think we may have some surprise teams here coming up soon. We'll learn more about that maybe in a later segment. Teaser alert.
Speaking of surprise, look at that, Sonny Weaver back in the win column. Not really sure how that happened. I think it's more of a participation award for the old Weaves, but I'm proud of you, bud. You finally found a way to get an X in your column. I will be absolutely instituting a recount because I'm not completely sure this was legitimate. He makes all the scorecard graphics, so obviously there's some bias there, but you know what? Congratulations, Sonny. I'm proud to see you not wallowing in yet another loss.
Well, what do they say? By hook, by crook, or whatever the hell that saying is.
I lie, I cheat, I steal. Yeah. Shout out to Eddie Guerrero. Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you got to steal a win. We stole a win last time, and I'll probably steal a couple more here before it's all said and done.
Yeah, why not? Optimism is always key. And as always, folks, here on Highly Debatable, after round 3, post in the chat or in the comments down below if you're watching on our YouTube archives. Hashtag OSU wins or hashtag Sonny wins to determine who wins this episode of Highly Debatable. A lot has happened in the NBL since our last episode. Let's get going with round number 1. And in round number 1, we had that NBL rookie draft. What a night we had. New format here on the NBL Network. If you haven't checked it out, check it out in the archives on our YouTube channel. It's really a fun show, a laid-back show. You got to see about 4.5 rounds of drafting live on screen. We've had a lot of talks about this draft as to who wins, who loses. Sonny, I guess who passed the test? Who are you looking at in the NBL that you go, hey, that guy really drafted well, and I would give him not only a passing grade, let's give him a B or an A.
Well, 2 teams stand out to me that I really like. First one, shout out to the draft guru himself, player partner. Yeah. I love the guy's draft. The guy drafts like just an animal. One of my favorite players in this draft, Derek Tanner, the superstar wide receiver, 96 acceleration, 96 speed. The guy can fly. 81 overall out of the gate, but then he followed that up with Zach Cohen, a center, only 22 years old, so he's still very capable of progressing. 87 strength, and then a left guard, Lawrence Morrow, again 77 overall, 87 strength. 2 young linemen to shore up that line, and then a weapon in Tanner. Really like him. And then on my other side here, another elite drafting night. I'm going to actually shout out the Cincinnati Bengals. Fry did a great job there. Bryson Lamb, the best middle linebacker in this draft, superstar, 81 overall. And then kind of underrated because we do devalue safeties in our league, it seems. Blake Wintersick, superstar as well, 79 overall. The guy got 2 elite starters here for his defense. I think those 2 teams, they've kind of been meddling towards the top of the draft. I think this year maybe Tampa Bay's big breakout year. I think Cincinnati's going to see an uptick this year, maybe to 6 or 7 wins.
Well, I had both those teams listed as really great drafts. I love what the Bengals did. Team that nobody's really talking about. They play an absolutely brutal AFC North. So with both those teams, it's a big question as to whether they can make the next step. I really like what Tampa continues to do. And I think that NFC South is much more winnable than the AFC North. The guy I'm going to shout out continues to haunt my nightmares is, for some reason, the Los Angeles Chargers, after going to the Super Bowl, after coming so close to getting that title, they go out and have what I think might have been the best draft, especially considering where they're drafting from. I mean, we talked about the great players in the NBL draft. AJ Baggs, what a great pick at number 1. But this is a Chargers team who was in the Super Bowl. They're picking at number 31. They don't have a big a high pick. They don't have a huge amount of picks from trades. They're basically drafting at the end of the first round and at the end of every round, and they end up picking up a guy like Paul Holloman, who I absolutely love. 82 overall, 90 strength, 87 tackle, 84 block shot, 84 power move. They get rid of Melvin Ingram in free agency, and then they just go out and replenish with a younger version of Ingram. And I think Holloman may actually be better because of how good he is off the draft. And I'm just sitting there, I'm looking through their draft pick. I mean, you're looking at every rookie that's on their team. 76 overall, 73 overall, 84 overall, 73 overall. They just managed to find value in the later rounds. Landon Vaughn, a cornerback, 72 overall. I like him, 190 out of Northern Illinois. This Chargers team I would be a team Sonny, I would think would have a rough draft considering how far back in the draft order they are, and then they just go out and continue to get picks. Their 4th round pick, superstar dev, another end. I mean, how do you do it when you're that late in the draft? I'm just so impressed by what the Chargers do.
I'll give you, I like the Paul Holloman pick. Obviously, that was a great value there where he did pick that. Corey Ratliff, also not a bad pick. I'm not going to give you any credit for going with the fullback, throwing out the 84 overall to a fullback.
Fullbacks are key.
Not so fast, my friend. Just not that big of an impact player.
I'm just saying, not so big of an impact player. 90 impact block. That is the definition of impact in this game. Gotcha right there.
60 speed.
Well,
and 60 speed. He'll never be able to get out in front of a blocker.
66 speed.
That's
66.
That's cool. And the rest of it is just average. I mean, if you look at some of those other guys we talked about, player had plenty of 75 overall guys I didn't even get into. Also Fry had a couple 76 guys. It's just one of those things where I think the Chargers may have gotten the best player with Holloman. But if I'm looking for a team that really molded their future, I'm looking probably to the Bengals because I really like that defensive front they're going to put on there with the middle linebacker and strong safety, both superstars. Both will be 90s before the end of this year.
I mean, the biggest basis for why I love the Chargers draft is just because of where they were in the draft. Let's not pretend like this was, I mean, you can get great players 1 through 10. It's about finding those gems, especially when you're back in the draft. And let's give a lot of credit, by the way. We have only seen very limited action from AJ Baggs with the Rams, but this dude's going to be a star. And we've already seen the Rams in preseason and in week 1 play a lot better offensively with AJ Baggs at the helm. We've seen lots of quarterbacks with the Los Angeles Rams. Eli Manning was there for a while. I mean, this is a team that plays out in the NFC West, a division that I think the Seahawks are stepping back. I think the 49ers are very good, but AJ Baggs at the helm, I'm not saying it makes them a great team. They still need help, but they made the right pick at number 1, and I really like what they got in AJ Baggs.
I think there's a lot to be determined there still. I think they have a great running back there in Todd Gurley, and he's going to be the focal point of that offense. They're going to have to figure out ways to get wide receivers open. They're going to have to scheme them open. They run a lot of two wide receiver sets, very heavy box looks. We'll see. I'm not so sure I'm excited about AJ Baggs as you are.
I'm very excited about AJ Baggs. I think he's I've seen just limited action from him. Again, it's always a test whether he'll turn into the next great quarterback here in the NBL or the next Jarrett Ripkowski. Kyle and chat saying, always saying the Seahawks stepping back. We're just saying mathematically. The average age of the Seahawks is like 94 at this point, right, Sonny? I think 94, 95?
They definitely can all qualify for AARP.
There you go, right there. Just saying, mathematically. Prove me wrong. Let's get to round 2. This is a very interesting topic. Let's talk about what the Washington Redskins did in the offseason. It's taking a step back from the draft. We'll go back a couple days, or we'll go forward a couple days, and back, I don't know. I'm losing my mind because I'm just looking at these numbers. $55.05 million for Jordan Howard over 5 years. Hassan Reddick, $70 million over 7 years. The question that we're posing is, does this free agency mean the Redskins are going to win? And my answer for you is no. No. The Redskins, I think the New York Giants proved a lot by winning that Super Bowl last year. This was not a Super Bowl that was gifted them. I think the Giants proved how good they really are. I think that NFC East is continually sneaky good at times. The Dallas Cowboys find a way to win 5-6 games in a row. They finish 6-10, but they win 5-6 games in a row. The Philadelphia Eagles are not good, but let's ignore that for a moment. I think the free agent moves maybe gives them an extra win or two, but they had a very serviceable halfback in Washington, and I thought they misused Samaje Perine. I think we've seen over and over, Sonny, on NBL Live, the Redskins go away from the run game way too early and put it in the hands of Zach Belisari and force him to air it out. And until that changes, until they actually find that identity that continues to be talked about, until they go passing the ball 30 times a game is not how we're going to win a division. It doesn't buy them any wins. Jordan Howard will be a very cool running back with very good ratings, with a very big contract that gets 11 carries a night. And that's what getting those players doesn't make them winners unless they use them right. And I just don't trust the Redskins to actually use to use Jordan Howard correctly. And Hassan Reddick, a very good player, doesn't make the one player on the defense doesn't make the defense great. But Jordan Howard is the one that I go, why pay so much money for somebody you know is only going to get 11 carries a night?
Yeah, I'm going to actually agree with you here, and I think you key in on Jordan Howard and kind of the big money spent there, and we agree also that Samaje Perine was definitely underused there. A lot of times they went to a passing attack when they should have been in a running situation. But I key in on Hassan Reddick. I get it; he's a little bit younger, but Zach Brown was basically the same guy. They went out and they spent a lot of money for Hassan Reddick, but Zach Brown just 2 years older. When you look at a lot of their stats, very similar, and it seems like the Redskins were just trying to make a big splash in free agency to make themselves feel better, to make them feel like they could now compete with those Giants, but I don't think they actually can. I think what you got was a Dan Snyder recreation of the real-life Washington Redskins. Porter running out, throwing money at anything that was moving. He even went out and got Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not sure that Jimmy Garoppolo is even that great of a backup quarterback option. We saw what happened in New England. And so you just see a guy that wanted to make big moves, but yeah, I just don't see it. I think Porter is going to still find himself at the 2, maybe even 3 seat in that division behind the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and again, so much in this league is so dependent on schedule, so it depends on who they match up against. I do like the receiving core a lot, and I think that may have a lot to do with why they end up sort of backing into Zach Belisari so much, because, I mean, Jamison Crowder is 86 overall, Josh Doctson 83, Wayne Whiteside 6'5", 83 overall. He's a really nice player, 90 speed, 91 excel. They have a lot of tools here, but, I mean, I guess, Sonny, let me pose this question to you. If they do end up going, we're going to run with Jordan Howard. If they go, we're going to finally find that identity, and we're going to be a run-first team with Jordan Howard, which will open up our pass game, take the pressure off of Zach Belisari, go back to a much closer to 50-50 ratio run-pass. Is this team a playoff team if they do that?
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Honestly, I just think I just think the Giants are so much better than that team. I see them every year in the preseason. Obviously, it's just a preseason, but I think injuries are going to be an issue for them this year. And frankly, I'm just not sold that team's going to be able to stick to a game plan of running and really giving Howard the ball. And to be frankly honest, I don't think Howard's going to stay healthy. The guy never stays healthy. He wasn't healthy in Chicago. And I think when it comes down to it, he's going to miss more games than he plays this year.
And here's the other thing that people aren't talking about. Jordan Howard's moving over to the NFC East. That Giants defense showed a lot in the postseason how good they are, especially stopping the run. They faced some very good rushing attacks, especially from the only 2,000-yard rusher in NBL history, and bottled up Melvin Gordon. It's going to be tough sledding for Jordan Howard. I think if they find a way to find that identity and they run first, I think this team will challenge for a wild card because I don't think the NFC wild card is going to be. I think the NFC wild card, first wild card, would probably be around 10-6, and probably a 9-7 team gets in. I think they'll challenge for it if they do that. I just don't trust them to do that. We're going to head to round 3. I'm going to try to intro this topic, but I'm probably going to throw it to Sonny because I'm a little lost. I understand what we're doing, but this is a new segment here on Highly Debatable. Yes, the Highly Debatable stock market is open, folks. A recurring segment here on Highly Debatable. This will be, you'll see this throughout the year, throughout all of our episodes. Basically, from how I understand it, I'll throw it over to Sonny. We're picking 5 teams, and we're looking for it to have the Super Bowl champion in one of those 5 teams. Sonny, am I right? Do I have the TLDR down?
Yeah, it's a very loosely regulated game here, and basically the idea is we're going to take turns picking, and each week you're going to be able to buy or sell teams. So obviously, if you're buying high on maybe the Minnesota Vikings, you're going to want to sell on them later in the year when they do crash and burn. But you basically buy and sell these things week to week, and at the end of the year, we're going to look and see who had the best team. Obviously, if neither of us has the Super Bowl champion in there, then we'll compare playoff records and so on. But it'll be a fun way to try to get a jump and maybe pick out a couple sleeper teams that you buy on earlier in the year and then hang on to them late.
NBL Network, I believe Lip manning the NBL Network, saying Sonny created this. No, much like everything in Sonny life, he copied it from somebody. Sonny, who did you copy this from?
It was actually SVP and Rosillo, so you know.
Well, let's throw. You're gonna hear the bell again. But let's throw up those power rankings so people can see the teams. Sonny Weaver, I'll give you the first pick.
Okay, so he gives me the first pick, and this is a power position move right here.
All right, settle down.
You know, I like this, and actually this one's gonna hit close to OSU. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Los Angeles Chargers. I think. You know, I don't think they go undefeated through the regular season this year, but I think they put it together. And I think the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be your Super Bowl champion.
Well, I get the next 2 picks, right, Sonny? Is that how we're doing it? We're going 2 2s in the 1?
Yeah, you know, since I got the first and the best pick, I'll let him have the next 2.
I am going to take I'm going to take the Detroit Lions because I like what they have done.
Kiss ass.
Yeah, I like what they did. I like Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, whoever's at quarterback there. They still have Harvey Beckham. I like the Lions. For my second pick, I'm between 2 teams, but I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers because the Pittsburgh Steelers find a way to do something every year, and I need to challenge that Chargers team. I'm going to go with the 2, let's say, dominant franchises here in the NBL. I'll take the Lions and the Steelers.
Those are good picks. I was hoping you were going to pass on Pittsburgh because I really wanted Pittsburgh. I was going to go very AFC heavy. I'm going to actually get my next 2 picks in here. And I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. You know, we always talk about them kind of being a little bit of a sleeper team. People don't respect them. They had a nice run last year, got shut down a little bit in the playoffs. But I like that Seattle Seahawks team. I think they've reloaded with some younger players. For my next pick, I'm gonna stay in the NFC, and I'm gonna take the reigning Super Bowl champions,
defending, undisputed.
Giants. Yeah, I gotta like them. I think the Giants did some good things in the offseason, and frankly, I think they've got the pedigree now that they can win in the playoffs, and so I'll take the Giants.
Okay, so I got 2 here. We've sort of got the big names off the board here. I am going to go with the team sitting there at number 5 here on the Bleacher Report Power Rankings. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. I like them to win that division. I love Ross Bonham. I've been a big fan of Ross Bonham since the beginning. I like what this team is doing, especially if Tevin Coleman can at least be healthy during the playoffs. So I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints, and I'm also going to take the Minnesota Vikings. I like Jack Gerberry a lot. I really like Jack Gerberry, and I like... the Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, I think those are the 2 best teams in the NFC. So I think one of them at least is going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and you stole it because I really want New Orleans there too. So I'm standing here and I've got LA, I've got New York. I feel like I've got a really powerful top there. You know, wow, that was kind of awkward there. That was weird. I got the Seattle Seahawks a little lower rated. I'm going to actually make a little bit of a play here for a speculative play here. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Yep.
I'm thinking the Atlanta Falcons could come out of that NFC South, maybe get hot. Obviously, they dumped Matt Ryan. They're looking to reimagine this offense. I think the Falcons could end up being one of those hot playoff teams that could make a little bit of a run. So I'll take the Atlanta Falcons. And then let's see, what do we got left here on the board? The board is slim pickings. Obviously, I'm not taking the Cleveland,
the Cleveland Browns are there.
They are overrated, not top 5. I'm going to pass on the Cleveland Browns. Looking. Ooh, this one is tough. Let's go with God, this is self-defeating. Let's go with the Oakland Raiders.
Hey, thanks, bud.
And here's why. Actually, you've had a couple decent years. I think the right draw in the playoffs, maybe a breaker here, here or there, you could get hot. I like what I see in the Raiders, and obviously, you've beaten me quite a few times, so I got to take the guy that can beat me. So I'll take the Oakland Raiders to round out my team.
What a bad pick by you, Sonny, because so far the MVP of my team has been the injury bug, the shoulder tears, really
healthy.
really affecting Oakland. Yeah. It is not good. All right, last pick. I like my squad so far. Steelers and Lions, 10 titles between them. New Orleans Saints, one of the best up-and-coming teams. The Minnesota Vikings. But I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to go with a team that I think is going to take a major step forward this year. I'm going to go with a team also in my own division because the AFC West equals the AFC best. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. Draco finds a way to continue to have one of the best defenses in the NBL. And I think what they have at quarterback is finally sort of settling everything down. Straseljic has had some great games, already won their week 1 game. I just think Draco, the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs this year. And I think once that Draco defense, as I try to switch back to the camera, once that Draco defense gets in the playoffs, I'm a big believer in the better defensive team can win a lot of games. And this is a team that, by the way, last year played the Los Angeles Chargers incredibly close in both games. I think they were both 6 or 7 point losses. They see the Chargers twice a year. The AFC West, of course, incredibly difficult. But I think the Chiefs take that step forward this year. I like the Chiefs to get into the playoffs. I like the Chiefs that once they are in the playoffs, much like the Seattle Seahawks, Sonny, to sort of be that team that nobody wants to face because of what they do. And let me reiterate once again, none of us took the Cleveland Browns. That is a fact. Hashtag not top 5. Hashtag take a knee. Hashtag let's get to shoutouts. Again, folks, we are at the end of round 3, so go ahead and post in the chat, hashtag OSU wins or hashtag Sunny wins, determine who wins this episode of Highly Debatable. You will see that stock market will be around for the next couple of episodes. It actually is going to be added as a 4th segment, not so much a winning segment. We'll do that at the beginning of every show, so you guys can follow along as to who we trade out, who we trade in. Should be a lot of fun to follow along, and then folks will hopefully you guys will keep tuning in and give us your thoughts as we get through the NBL season. Sonny, it is shout out time. Time to give a big shout out to all of the great people that we talk about here on the show. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's not so nice. I am going to give a big shout out to the teams. I want to give a shout out to Pricey. And here's why I want to give a shout out to Pricey. Because he is the Tennessee Titans #1 fan. And to be the Tennessee Titans #1 fan, it's impressively difficult. But here's the other reason I want to give a shout out to Pricey, and this sort of goes out to everybody who is in the grid, everybody who's in the NBL, everybody who is out there playing Madden for fun. The one thing that I have always found in Pricey is it is no secret he has struggled to get some wins here in the NBL. I think that's putting it lightly. But I think Pricey does such an unbelievable job of having a positive attitude and never being anything but gracious in the chat, anything but gracious towards the people he plays. And I think it's an example to a lot of those people out there. Maybe you're struggling, maybe you lost a game you didn't think about. If you want to look at a guy who takes a loss correctly, that's Pricey. And so I want to give a big shout out to him because I love that positive attitude, and I love talking to him in chat, whether it's on Xbox, whether it's in GroupMe. I think he's so much fun to talk to, and I think he has one of the best attitudes here in the NBL, and I think a lot of people could learn from that.
Well, I got to appreciate Pricey, obviously. He's my #1 fan. Go Tennessee Titans. My shout out this week is actually to MBL Promotions, N-Train and crew for putting together this March Madness Squares.
I'm sorry, it is not March Madness anymore. It's sponsored by Allstate, sir. It's March Mayhem.
Okay, whatever you're going with. But anyway, shout out to MBL Promotions. Obviously, it's a fun game. Things we do inside of the league, but the bigger impact here is the $500 we plan to donate to the Wounded Warriors Project. And so, big shout out to those guys. Obviously, we've talked about it in the past. It's the things we do outside of Madden that bring us together, and we try to make a positive impact where we can. So shout out to those guys for getting it together, and I hope you guys all get involved. Make sure you do. If you haven't already got your square, go buy it right now.
Yeah, big shout out to those guys. Big shout out to everybody tuning in here on YouTube. Now your job is to do one simple thing. Head over to twitch.tv/MBL Network. We will be on there in about 5 minutes with a rematch of our Season 29 Super Bowl. Giants and Chargers here on MBL Live. It's going to be a great game. You don't want to miss it. We're going to take the stream down for just a second to switch everything over, but twitch.tv/MBL Network. Go check that out. We got a great game coming up for my co-host, Sonny Weaver. I'm OSU. Thanks for tuning in to episode 13 of Highly Debatable, and we will see you next time here on the MBL Network.